Most people think their health problem is motivation. They think that if they just wanted it more, if they just tried harder, if they were more disciplined, things would finally change. And if that were true, they wouldn't be starting over again because motivation isn't new to them. They felt it before. They felt it after a doctor's appointment. They've after bad lab results, after stepping on the scale, or after seeing a picture of themselves they didn't like. They felt that moment where something clicks, where they say to themselves, "This is it. I'm serious this time. I'm actually going to do it." And in that moment, it feels real. It feels different. It feels like something has shifted. But if motivation actually worked, this wouldn't feel like a cycle. They wouldn't keep restarting. They wouldn't keep going through the same pattern over and over again, getting motivated, staying strong, falling off, then starting again. So today, I want to explain something that might completely change how you feel about your health. So today, I want to explain something that might completely change how you think about your health. Motivation is the wrong tool for health change, and more importantly, what actually works instead.
Yeah. Wake up early, no excuses made. Pressure bills, but I don't break. Hard habits, that's the code I live. Discipline gives what motivation can't give. When it's heavy, I lean in more. That's what pressure's for. Built through pain, not comfort zones. This is where the strong are grown.
Welcome to Hard Habits. I'm Dan DeLauder, and this podcast is about building health that actually survive real life. Not perfect conditions, not ideal schedules, not unlimited energy or time. Real life, work stress, family responsibilities, poor sleep, busy schedules, mental fatigue, because that's where most people struggle. Not because they don't know what to do, but because what they're trying to do doesn't seem to fit their life. So here, we focus on building systems, not quick fixes, not temporary motivation, but systems that actually work. Here's the truth that most people will never hear, and honestly, it's one of the most important things I can tell you. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They don't fail because they don't care. They don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they're using a strategy that was never designed to last. Motivation is emotional energy, and emotional energy is unpredictable. It spikes when something triggers it. Fear, frustration, urgency. You go to the doctor and your blood pressure is higher than it should be. Your A1C is creeping up. Your cholesterol isn't where it should be. And suddenly, motivation shows up. Or maybe it's not a lab value. Maybe it's something more personal. Your clothes don't fit the same way they used to. You feel tired all the time. You look at a picture of yourself and you don't recognize the person in it. And in that moment, something shifts. You feel urgency. You feel discomfort. You feel that push to change. And motivation shows up loud, convincing, powerful. You tell yourself, this time is different. I'm not messing around anymore. I'm actually going to follow through. And for a short time, you do. You change everything. You clean up your diet. You start exercising consistently. You say no to things that you used to say yes to. You feel in control. You feel disciplined. You feel like you're finally doing it right. But then something happens. Not something dramatic, just life. Work gets busy. You're more tired than usual. Your schedule shifts. Something unexpected comes up. You don't sleep well. And suddenly, the same plan that felt so manageable a week ago feels overwhelming. You miss a workout. You eat something that wasn't a part of the plan. And here's the key moment. Motivation disappears. Not because you failed, but because motivation was never designed to carry you long term. And when your entire plan depends on motivation, the plan collapses the moment life pushes back. Motivation fails for three specific reasons. And once you understand these, you'll stop blaming yourself. The first reason, motivation is temporary. It's not built to last for weeks, months, or years. It's built to respond to emotion. That's it. It's like a spark. And sparks don't burn forever. They flare up, then they fade. That's why the beginning always feels strong. And a few weeks later, it doesn't. That's not a failure. That's how motivation works. The second reason motivation fails, it's reactive, not proactive. Motivation shows up after something goes wrong, after bad labs, after weight gain, after discomfort. It reacts to the problem. But it doesn't build structure. It doesn't prepare for stress. It doesn't account for real life. So when stress shows up, and It always does. There's nothing holding your plan together. No structure, no system, just willpower. And willpower runs out quickly. The third reason motivation fails, and this is the most damaging one, it creates an all or nothing mindset. When motivation is high, you go all in. You eat perfectly, you train hard, you follow everything exactly. But then something small happens. You miss one workout. You have one meal that doesn't fit the plan. You have an off day. And suddenly your brain tells you, you messed it up, you fell off, what's the point now? So instead of just adjusting, you quit, you reset. You tell yourself, you'll start over again on Monday. And now you're back at the beginning. That's not a discipline problem. That's not a character flaw. That's a broken system. Because any system that can't survive imperfection was never a good system to begin with. So if motivation doesn't work, what does? Systems. Systems are actually what create long-term health change. And here's the difference. Systems don't rely on how you feel. They don't require you to be motivated. They assume you won't be. They assume you'll be tired. They assume you'll be stressed. They assume life will interfere. And they work anyway. A system removes decision making. Instead of waking up and asking, do I feel like working out today? The system already has an answer. Instead of standing in the kitchen thinking, what should I eat? The system already gives you options. Instead of saying, I ruined everything, the system asks, what's the next correct action? That's a completely different mindset. Systems don't aim for perfection. They aim for consistency. They lower the barrier to entry. They make it easier to stay in the game. Because staying in the game is what matters, not being perfect. Not having flawless weeks, just continuing. That's how real change happens. So let's make this practical, because this only matters if you apply it. This week, I want you to stop asking yourself if you're motivated. That question doesn't help you. Instead, I want you to ask yourself this. What is the smallest action that keeps me in the game? Not the perfect action, not the most impressive action, the smallest action. A 10-minute walk counts. A basic strength workout counts. Choosing a better meal counts. Drinking water instead of soda counts. Going to bed earlier counts. Do something instead of nothing. Always counts. Because consistency beats intensity every time. And small actions done repeatedly create real change. Here's the bottom line. Motivation is not your problem. And it's not your solution either. If you keep relying on motivation, you will keep repeating the same cycle. But if you shift to systems, everything changes. Because systems don't quit when life gets hard. They adapt. They continue. They keep moving forward, even when it's not perfect. And that's the goal. Not perfection. Progress. Sustainable progress. Systems work in real life, not just on your best days. This episode helped you rethink how you approach your health. Share it with someone who keeps starting over. Because chances are they don't need more motivation either. They need a better system. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next week at Hard Habits.
Yeah. Wake up early, no excuses made. Pressure bills, but I don't break. Hard habits, that's the code I live. Discipline gives what motivation can't give. When it's heavy, I lean in more. That's what pressure's for. Built through pain, not comfort zones. This is where the stronger grown.